S&P sank 1.3% in the afternoon. Dow tumbled 1,046 points or 2.1%. Jesus. War with Iran ruins. Dude, oil prices, man. Barrel Brent crude international standard rose 4.7%. Jesus, man. Oil prices rose after Iran launched a new wave of attacks against Israel, American bases, and countries around the region. Azerbaijan just closed. Azerbaijan just closed their airports because of strikes from Iran, and that's in Caspian Sea area, and I know they're a U.S. ally, but they're gonna retaliate against Iran. I mean, the U.S. is literally pulling what Azerbaijan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, not Iraq, but Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Egypt, Israel. Nah, I wouldn't say Egypt, but these countries are going to be stuck in war for another fucking 50 years. I know Lebanon was having issues with Israel as well, on top of everything. State Department announces closure of U.S. Embassy in Kuwait after retaliatory Iranian strikes. Trump wants to be involved in picking Iran's next leader. He told Axios on Thursday the U.S. president called Mojtaba Khamenei, a son of late Supreme Leader, unacceptable and lightweight. Comments are likely to renew questions about whether the U.S. and Israel seek to overthrow the Islamic Republic or just change its policies. They want regime change, but it's never gonna work. Regime change has never worked. Evacuation plane turns back mid-flight amid missile fire. French Air France plane was chartered the French government to pick up French citizens stranded in the UAE. Missiles were fired from or who they were targeting. The situation testifies to the instability in the region, the complexity of the repatriation operations. Why can I not speak today? Dude, whenever I take Ritalin, it's like I can't speak. I lose my ability to speak. Ukraine is sending equipment to help counter. Yep, that makes sense. So we're not gonna have any replacement. This is what I like. I said, they're like no matter who they replace, this isn't gonna end what's happening. The U.S. government wants to regime change, especially Israel wants a regime change. Israel wants a second Israel, as Iran, like any country, but that's just not possible. Israel was a case of glorified corruption, state-backed or U.S. state-backed like takeover of the area. France and UK take over the area, kicking Muslims out of their homes. Like decades and decades of this. I mean, the war, Israel and Palestine have been going back. I mean, Israel's been assaulting Palestine and taking over more and more of its territory for the last like 70 years. So, second vote in many days. The Senate defeated a similar measure along party lines. Lawmakers are confronting a sudden reality of representing the American people in a wartime and all that entails. Lives lost, dollars spent in alliances tested by the president's unilateral decision to go to war with Iran. Unilateral executive theory. The Senate has zero fucking control over this. The Senate has no power. We have zero control in what the president wants to do. House is in recess right now. I mean, they're going to try to get a War Powers Act passed, but it's not going to. Iraq is assaulting Iran, or Iraqi Kurds are assaulting Iran. Well, this is what my taxes are going to, because obviously this is much better than giving children lunches or healthcare. True. He believes the war in Iran is our national interest, then he must come to Congress and make the case. Gregory Meeks, top Democrat at the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Or Gregory, let me talk to you, bud. We could say Donald Trump is not a king. He is waging a unlawful war, killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people, and he needs to be brought up in front of Congress to testify it. For Democrats, Trump's attack on Iran, influenced by Benjamin Netanyahu, is a war of choice that's testing the balance of powers in the Constitution. The framers weren't fooling around, arguing the Constitution is clear that only Congress can decide matters of war. I mean, that's what we would have if the Democrats had a spine. I don't think there's going to be any stoppage to the war anytime soon. Israel to keep Jerusalem holy sites closed on Friday, including Aqsa Mosque. I don't know how to say half of these fucking words. Although closures will affect worshippers of all faiths, changes the status quo governing Palestinian access to the mosque and surrounding compound have been politically sensitive. The site is the third holiest in Islam and the holiest in Judaism because it was a location of biblical temples. And our allies in Europe aren't doing a whole lot, except for Spain. Spain is with Iran. Spain is pushing back pretty hard against this because the U.S. government said Spain cooperated with the U.S. operation at the Middle East, or the White House said that about Spain. Spain's like, no, we didn't. I can refute the White House spokesperson. The position of the Spanish government regarding the war in the Middle East, the bombing of Iran, is use of bases. It's not a change on iota. Disagreement broke on Tuesday when Trump said that he was going to cut off all trade with Spain a day after Alvarez said that his government would allow the U.S. to use jointly operated bases in southern Spain and any strikes not covered by the UN Charter. At least slightly. Yeah, it's not a lot. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where capital still kind of holds power, where they can't be like, oh, the U.S. is a invading country because they don't want to lose trade. But Trump does want to cut off Spain because of this.
It started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases. And that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain.
Well, we are trying to convince Spain to catch up with the 3% or 3.5%, which we agreed on in NATO. And as the President said, it's correct. Spain is the only one who is not willing to accept that. And we are trying to convince them that this is a part of our common security, that we all have to comply with these numbers, and this is 3.5 for military and another 1.5 for our military infrastructure. So Spain has to comply with that.
By the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. That island that you read about, the lease, okay, he made it for whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. So we are very surprised. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
Yeah, and then like there's nobody to impede this. And I mean, George Bush, God told me to end the tyranny in Iraq. I mean, it's all just Christian nationalism. Go get the Palestinians their state and get the Israelis their security and get peace in the Middle East, and by God, I'm going to do it. This is in 2005. Palestinian Prime Minister is also part of the delegation, told BBC program that Mr. Bush had said, I have a moral and religious obligation. I must get you a Palestinian state, and I will. This is all that the U.S. is using to wage a war, by the way. Just Christian nationalism. It's the reason why we're at war in Iran. What is visualizing the conflict mean? Nothing? Okay, thank you, AP. Ah, they gave me a little map that I can't look at for some reason. Yeah, lots of strikes all over the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, Israel is getting striked. Hey, but Gaza is being avoided. Separation of church and state. I mean, you can never have a true separation of church and state. Yeah, Azerbaijan was striked twice today. So they're going to strike back. Or not Azerbaijan, Azer, sorry. But yeah, Iran is dealing with a lot of attacks. Well, leave out Christian nationalism. I mean, yeah, obviously. But that takes a societal level change. That takes a change from that takes decades to change. Or at least influential, persuasive people like my boy James Tallarico.